What's up, YouTube? Here are my top 5 reasons Canelo beats Gennady Golovkin. Let's do it. Now, doesn't that get you in the mood? Doesn't that get you in the mood to talk about a little bit of boxing? Okay, look, let me throw out a disclaimer real quick. So, all right, cut the music. Cut the music. Okay, look. Look, let me throw out a quick disclaimer and explain my intentions, okay? Look, if you're going to make a real thoughtful, meaningful, serious prediction video, you've got to be subjective, okay? And, you've got to look at it from both sides. And you can't just say, oh, well, Golovkin, he's going to go in there and just kill him, annihilate him, wipe the floor. It's going to be a blowout. It's, you just can't. He's not going to go in there and just beat him pillar to post. Okay, it's not going to happen. So you got to look at it. Now, I know I give Canelo a hard time. So in this video, I'm going to try not to do that. And, and again, in a lot of my other videos, I mean, you guys know I favor Golovkin, although I haven't made my official prediction video. I favor him in the fight as of now, but it's important that you look at it with unbiased eyes. You can't play favorites. You gotta just take an honest, genuine look at the fight. If you don't, really, you don't have any business on YouTube. I mean, you can start up a fan page or something, but so that's my intentions here. Okay, so let's get right into it. 5 reasons Canelo can beat Gennady Golovkin. Okay. Number 1, weight. Okay, the weight. Now, I know what a lot of you are probably thinking, but hear me out. Okay, Canelo will put on probably 20 pounds for this fight. Okay, and if you think about it, he had a hard time making the 164 in the Chavez fight. I put out a video talking to you guys about how he looked drained. I mean, his pants were like sagging down. You could see like his bones in his back and everything. And that was at 164. I mean, look, the reason he said I'm no longer going to fight at light middleweight, he said Liam Smith will be my last fight at middleweight, was because he's simply getting too big. He's growing up, he's becoming, a full-bodied man, okay? And he's simply too big for those lower divisions. So, and even in those lower divisions, in the catch weights that we've all, talked about, we know that he puts on 15, 20 pounds. I mean, going back to, probably even maybe Mayweather, Irizlandi Lara, Kirkland, Cotto, especially Khan, Liam Smith, and then, of course, Chavez, he came in, man, probably 175, 170, who knows? So, yeah, I think Canelo will be the bigger boxer on fight night. Okay, I mean, and I'm dead serious because we know Gennady Golovkin comes in around 170, and I think Canelo, he's going to have, he's going to want that fluid around his vital organs, okay? And, we've talked about this, the more fluid, it protects your brain, it protects your organs. I mean, it's basically a shield for your body. So, I think, he's going to come in really blown up, so, and I think we're going to see him just bigger than we've ever seen him before. Now, the flip side to that, the downside to that is he, more muscle, more bulk, more oxygen, right? He could gas out. I mean, we already know Canelo doesn't have the greatest footwork, so if he's flat-footed and in quicksand, that might be a bad thing for him, and it could maybe explain why he was on the ropes against Chavez, because remember, he kept going to the ropes and kind of leaning back, and typically heavier fighters do that when they're tired. So it could go either way, okay? All right, number 2, the A side, the favorite. Now, big surprise, right? I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about here. Look, Canelo will be the A side in the eyes of the judges, okay? I'm not talking about the general consensus. I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about in the eyes of the judges and the crowd. Most likely, the crowd, he will be the A side. You know, I mean, and basically he's going to get credit for anything and everything he does. The crowd will go crazy every time he lands a punch. You know, I can already hear, Kellerman and whoever is announcing it, Lampley, like, oh, hard right hand. Oh, you know how they do it. So, you know, and I think the judges will be influenced by that. And look, I mean, they're going to give him a point for a feint, okay? I mean, he can walk up to a feint and he's getting a point. You know, so, I think it's going to be a factor in this fight. I promise you, and we'll talk about it after the fight. So, you know, and that's the thing. I mean, here's the thing. If Golovkin leaves it up to the judges, it's going to Canelo. Okay, so, I mean, he's the favorite. Now, the only way you can really get a decision over a favorite is to completely dominate, knock them down, you know, just basically, you know, embarrass them for 12 rounds. I mean, that's typically the only way. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, well, you know, maybe Canelo's not the favorite, right? You know, maybe it's Golovkin, or maybe it's, you know, kind of 50-50, but it's not. Trust me, there's a reason it's at T-Mobile Arena. There's a reason it's in Vegas, because I mean, I think it boils down to politics, and they wanted to pick the right judges to score the fight. Okay, and that's truthfully what I think. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, age, youth, and work rate. Okay, and I had to kind of put these in one bracket because they all kind of mean, you know, they mean the same thing. Now look, Canelo will be the busier fighter. Okay, and we already know, I talked about in my 5 reasons Golovkin beats Canelo video. You know, I said Canelo's going to be the busier fighter. Okay, and we know, I mean, he's gonna throw the combinations, use the ring, holding, running. I mean, whatever he's got to do to get a point. And like I said, every little thing he does, the judges will award him with the point. I think he's going to use like real flashy combos to impress the judges and win over rounds. I mean, and I think he's going to try to steal rounds towards the end of the round. He's going to try to, you know, get a good shot in or steal rounds. And you know, it's one thing. Canelo, he's good at looking good in front of the crowd. Okay, he knows how to show off in the ring, and we've seen it time and time again. And I think that basically it'll fool the casuals, but not the hardcores like most of us out there, and probably most of you watching on YouTube. But it's enough to convince the casuals, you know, that the right man got the decision, because like I said, you know, he's going to use that age, that youth, that work rate. And here's the thing. Here is the thing. Okay, Golovkin, he's got to keep busy in this fight. He cannot get complacent. He cannot get lazy. He cannot get comfortable. You know, if he thinks he has a comfortable lead, he cannot just lay back or take a round off. Can't do it. I mean, he's got to fight every round like it is the last round, okay, like it's the championship rounds. And Canelo needs to do the same thing as well, okay? So, you know, both guys, neither one of them can take time off. So, and you know, look, that's the big question right now. You know, is Gennady Golovkin fading? Okay, and that's kind of what's on everybody's mind right now. And you know, and I hear a lot of Canelo fans talking about his work rate and his youth, and how, you know, Golovkin, he was like fading against Jacobs, and he was fading in the Brook fight, which I don't agree with, but this is what they're saying. Okay, the counter punching. I mean, he's a good counter puncher, so again, he can rack up those points. So, you know, and I think Canelo will let his hands go, you know. So and you think about it, you got a prime Canelo. I mean, we're talking about his age, okay? You got a prime Canelo in his prime. And look, Golovkin, he's a different fighter today than he was in 2012 and 2013. Okay, Canelo is growing as a boxer in every fight, to where Golovkin, I think he's getting bored, you know. But, you know, we don't know what you know, version of Gennady Golovkin is going to show up, you know, on fight night. You know, we don't know if it's going to be, you know, the old Triple G, like in the Gill, the Rubio, the Martin Murray, the Willie Monroe Jr., or the David Lemieux, or even one of my favorites, the Gabriel Rosado Gennady Golovkin, you know, where he's just a ruthless killer in there, you know. So we don't know what Golovkin we're going to get, but that work rate is going to be extremely important. Now, okay, number 4 is defense. Okay, now look, Canelo has underrated defense. I will say that. He can turn it off or he can turn it on and off. He can turn it on when he needs to. I mean, look at the Cotto fight. He was dipping and dodging, moving his head, just showing some pretty good defense in that fight. So that tells me that, when he needs to, he can turn it on. And I know right now his camp, they are extremely focused on defense. Like, I've been watching a lot of his footage, building up to the Golovkin fight, and a lot of it really is centered, on defense. Okay, it's like they're focusing on defense. So when you combine good defense with a high rate, a high work rate, that's a winning recipe. Okay, so but look, Canelo, he's got to fight the perfect fight. So. And then look, Canelo looked good on the ropes. I mean, go back and watch the Chavez fight. He looked good, okay? And in the Liam Smith fight, same thing there. He looked good. His defense looked great. He had that bobbing and weaving thing going on. And some decent infighting too, So, and Gennady Golovkin, he'll get a guy on the ropes and get a little infighting going. But, I've seen Canelo develop his defense and his infighting. Like I said, with every fight, it's getting better and better. So, but and my question is, how will Golovkin handle his power, which I know we're talking about defense, but how's he going to handle the power? Because I think Canelo, I'm not going to say he's going to be one of the hardest hitting guys. I think it's probably Lemieux or Jacobs, maybe even Stevens. As far as like who's the hardest hitter Gennady Golovkin's been in the ring with. But I think, if Canelo can load up right, land a shot right, it's enough to hurt. He can hurt Golovkin. He can hurt him. I mean, look, anyone coming in the ring 170 pounds can knock a guy out. It just, it's like a mathematical or a scientific, certainty. Okay, you can't just say, oh, there's no way Canelo can hurt Golovkin. So, but and here's the most important and my final reason, number 5. Okay, the classic mistake. Okay, now I'm curious, like if you guys know what I'm talking about here, and I'm referring to Golovkin. Is he going to make the classic mistake? Okay, and there's really 3 or 4 parts to it. Number 1, underestimating your opponent. Okay, getting comfortable, getting complacent. Letting Canelo steal rounds. Just basically losing rounds. We see it all the time. And you watch a fight, like say Pacquiao Mayweather, you're watching Pacquiao lose these rounds. You're like, what the hell is he doing? Like, it's, kill or be killed, right? Like, where is the sense of urgency? So I'm hoping Golovkin doesn't make that mistake because, look, I think Canelo, he's been on a bigger stage. You look at the Mayweather fight, okay, or the Cotto or the Chavez. So, and I think Canelo's hungry, okay. In this fight, I really feel like Canelo is the hungrier fighter. I truly do. I think Golovkin, he's just happy to be in there. He's wanted this for a long time, but I think he got bored with it, and now he's got it. It's kind of like, I don't know. I don't see the genuine enthusiasm out of Golovkin, but I do see the genuine competitiveness out of Canelo. Okay, if that makes any kind of sense, So, emotionally, I see, Canelo being the more invested boxer right now. But, because I haven't really seen Golovkin, just get really pumped up and excited about the fight, So I hope, he doesn't make I hope he doesn't make that classic mistake, and I think we're going to see the best version of Canelo. I really do. And again, this is one of those kind of things, like, it's kind of like, I know it's hard to compare the two, but it's kind of like when Pacquiao got knocked out by Marquez, they were like, well, what are we going to see? What kind of Pacquiao is going to show up, like in the Rios fight, and when he'd land a punch and everyone kind of held their breath, it just seems like, with Golovkin after that Jacobs fight, going 12 rounds, did that do anything to him psychologically? Or was he baiting Canelo? Okay, I mean, was he playing possum? Was he trying to lure Canelo in to say, look, I'm fading, I'm getting slower, come on in, let's do this, So, again, I just hope that, Golovkin doesn't make that classic mistake. Because, I mean, number one, I want the best man to win, okay, most importantly. And in closing, I want the best boxer to win. And I don't really care who it is as long as they are genuinely the best, okay? And I don't want Golovkin to make that classic mistake where, oh, I'm ahead on the scorecards. Oh, I landed a good right hand. I can take this round off, or, and I do. I want to see that sense of urgency. I want to see, I want to see a little bit of drama in the buildup. Okay, I want to see like an intense, face off, and a little bit of trash talking. I mean, this is a big fight, and right now, this is like the best boxing has to offer. Okay, this is the best right here. This is the creme de la creme. Okay, this is the, the cherry on top. So. I don't want to see a dud, okay? But look, I'll leave it at that, kind of to recap real quick. And tell me if you guys agree with my list, okay? Tell me if you agree, with, the weight. Canelo coming in, the bigger man, okay? The A side, the favorite, is he going to have favoritism over the judges and the crowd, okay? Is Canelo being in his prime, his age, his youth, his work rate, is that going to play a factor? Okay, his defense. Okay, and like I said, you combine defense, work rate, age, youth. And that's kind of a triangle. And of course, do you think Golovkin will make that classic mistake? So hey, look. By the way, let me end here. I'm working on my official Andre Ward Sergey Kovalev prediction video, and it'll be out tomorrow night. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk again soon. I appreciate it. You guys mean a lot to me. Thank you.